Let's read a little bit from Tim Lowe's Wild Herbs of Australia and New Zealand by Tim Lowe, LOW. We want to learn a little bit about African boxthorn and whether they're toxic or not. African boxthorn, that's Lycium ferocissimum. Now there are several lyciums. There's the very popular Goji berry. Everyone's talking about Goji berry the past few years. It's some wonder berry, basically. Berry. It's supposed to be full of antioxidants. It's full of this, full of that. It'll cure everything, basically. It's a big industry, the Goji berry industry. Of course, it's been eaten in Nepal or China or something for thousands of years, and well, it has been a foodstuff. Now there are related lyciums, like there's an Australian lycium called Lycium austral, eaten by the Aborigines, according to Wild Food in Australia by Cribb, that's C-R-I-B-B. But I'm going to be talking about Lycium ferocissimum, African boxthorn, which is a weed, a well-known weed in Australia, and I think even in parts of America, and yes, where is it from originally? I suppose it's from Africa. Yes, it's African boxthorn. So, yes, is it toxic or not? Are the berries toxic or not? Boxthorn belongs to the tomato family, Solanaceae, a family famous for important food plants. That's like capsicum, aubergine, what else? Potatoes. A family famous for important food plants and notorious for its many toxic species, like deadly nightshade, for example. Boxthorn is traditionally included among the latter, as the fruits are claimed to have caused narcotic symptoms in humans on some occasions. However, the fruits are also held to be edible, and I have eaten them a number of times without ill effect. The raw berries taste like very sweet tomatoes, but may be unpleasantly bitter. They make excellent jams and tarts when stewed with sugar. Occasionally the berries dry on the shrub, and these have the flavour of sultanas. The claims of poisoning are probably hearsay, as are similar claims made for blackberry nightshade, another edible member of the tomato family. Similar plants are Chinese boxthorn, that's Lycium barbarum, and Aborigines ate the berries of the Australian boxthorn, Lycium austral. Well, yes. Let me tell you about my grandfather. He used to have all these wild African boxthorn growing around his property in central New South Wales, and when he was constipated he would boil up a batch of the right ones, the red ones, not the green ones. He would boil up a batch of Lycium ferocissimum. Lycium ferocissimum. It is very ferocious and covered in terrible thorns. Terrible, they're shocking. Try cutting them, you get pierced everywhere. Yes, he would boil up African boxthorn berries, the ripe ones, not the green ones, the ripe red ones, and he would boil them up and stew them like prunes. He would boil them up in a saucepan, a whole mess of them. He would boil up a whole big batch of them, and he would eat them just like a stewed fruit. And they would work as an aperient, as a laxative, yes. And my mother would never let us children taste, she was afraid it was poison. Well, the thing about the Solanaceae family is, if you eat green tomatoes, you can become ill. If you eat green potatoes, you can get solanine poisoning, whatever the ingredient is, the active ingredient in those Solanaceae family, you can get poisoned. And so, yes, you don't eat a green tree tomato, Tamarillo, for example. You don't eat them green, you eat them ripe. There are toxicities, but you can be hysterical about, I'll put a link in for Wikipedia where you can read about the side effects, the safety issues for eating goji berries, the type of lycium. So, which are they? I'm not sure which Lycium goji berries are, but they're a relative of the African boxthorns about which I've been talking. Yes, well, my grandfather used to stew them up, eat them like prunes, basically, and they were gentle. I don't know how well they were a laxative, and they worked. He always took them. and my grandfather would stew them up and use them as a laxative. And well, I haven't really taken any. My boyfriend ate one once. He just ate one berry and no harm came to him. I didn't expect it would, because yes, he ate a ripe one. He didn't eat a green one. I don't really go in much for tomato type flavoured fruits. They're full of little seeds. They are, yes, just add a bit. If you want to cook them up, I suggest that they're probably safe. I mean, my grandfather ate them for years and years, just boiled on the Scottish side of my family. And no harm came to him, not from boxthorn berries. But if you want to read about the safety issues, go to Wikipedia and read about the safety issues for goji berries and whether they can cause this or that. I mean, you can get poisoned by anything. I mean, for example, tomatoes are grown on a tobacco rootstock. I mean, what's that putting into your system? If you're eating your tomatoes and tree tomatoes grown on a tobacco rootstock, I mean, what's going into a tomato? Is nicotine going into a tomato nowadays? You can be hysterical. You can get poisoned by anything. I mean, you can overdose on anything. You can overdose on pineapple and get the Montezuma trots. You can overdose on chocolate. I've been sick eating chocolate. I ate a whole lot of chocolate recently, and I felt I'd never eat chocolate ever again. Yes, you can drink too much tea. You can anything in moderation. Yes, well, Tim Lowe suggests they're safe. My grandfather used to eat them, as I said. My boyfriend ate one without any bad effects, but, they're probably, I'd say they're alright. Then there's another problem. They're considered a noxious weed. If you're going to, if the government makes you kill them all, what are you going to do? You're going to, birds eat them, parrots eat them. They're an important parrot food. Now, if you're going to get around killing every boxthorn because you think that they're a weed, you should replace them with something. It's not enough just to tell everybody to spray them, because that isn't enough. You're taking food away. You're taking food away from birds, parrots and cockatoos, galahs, especially parrots. Parrots, they love boxthorn berries, the right ones. Yes, beautiful plant, really. The berries start green, and then they turn orange, and then they turn red, a deep red. That's for eating. So, very glossy berry. The flowers look a bit like a potato flower, being of that family. They attract a lot of bees. Bees love the flowers. Slight perfume, as I recall. Let's go out in the grounds, in the countryside nearby, and let's have a look. Well, what we're trying to look at here is African boxthorn berries. There's one. Not too many at the moment because it's the height of summer, but there you can see one. And over here, there's another one. Oops. Trying to do things with only one hand is a bit... There we are, African boxthorn. Look at it, very thorny shrub. Well, here's an orange berry. It's not as ripe as it could be. African Boxthorn Lycium, ferocissimum or sissimum or something. Hey, listen to the Goji bird. Grantiella picta, a painted honey eater. Doesn't it sound nice? I wonder if it eats these. It could, I suppose. I think it eats mistletoe. There's one. Oops, I would have squirted all over the camera. Do I? I really don't want to squirt it. Oops, I'm getting all sticky.